Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you guys have never been here before, my name is Toden, and if you have, thank you for coming back. Today I have a new video for you guys, and it is going to be discussing everything, well, not everything, but like basically 5 major things I've learned about toxic relationships and why I won't be participating in them anymore. So let's get to it. So the first thing that I can definitely say that I have learned from being in toxic relationships in the past is to be able to have this ability to date with confidence. For me, I've realized over the past 24 years that confidence is literally a sink or swim kind of situation, because in the world that we live in, the people who are at the top of the chain most of the time are the people who are confident in themselves and confident in the things that they want and the things that they believe in, because then someone can't take them for a ride. I mean, confident people sometimes can still be taken for a ride, but the extent to which is definitely different. So for me, what does that look like? That is going from discussing things that have to do with race or things that have to do with my religion or my background or my goals, having those open conversations, or at least trying to have those open conversations, and realizing when someone isn't a match for me to just kind of be like, hey, sorry, this isn't working out, and to have the confidence to move on. I know I touched a little bit on the race issue, but I'm actually really going to talk about it because I feel like these are conversations that seriously need to be had. As a black woman, a dark-skinned black woman, I find it very interesting when it comes, the word is not interesting, the word is very, how can I describe it? I find it interesting the reasons sometimes that people like me, and for me that can always be like either a good thing or a red flag. You know, there's been times where I've dated people and I realized that what they were actually doing was fetishizing me, that they actually did not like me for me. They liked me for my black features, which would be like big lips, or, you know, having a booty, having boobs, having this hourglass body, and all these like stereotypical designations that are placed on black women and black bodies, and how black women's bodies are so hypersexualized, not only in the media but also in real life. For me, that is like a problematic thing, because I just don't want someone dating me just because they want the experience of dating a black girl. Oof. That's so wrong on so many levels. And that is something that I feel like I'm constantly running into. I know that for me, the reason this kind of plays a huge role is probably because of my geographical location. Like, I live in Alberta, for crying out loud. Everywhere you look, there's another white boy. So I feel like that's honestly one of the reasons that plays a huge role. Like, that is something that I'm constantly like facing and having to either have conversations about, or just like not have conversations about, and just note it and just be like, this is not the man God has for me. Definitely had people like I would date and they would say the N-word, like deadass say the N-word in a song, and I'd be like, why can't you just say neighbor? Like, why can't you just say neighbor, or just like bleep it and go to the next word? Like, do you really have to say the N-word in the song? And they'd be like, well, the rapper said it in the song, that means it's okay. I'm like, bro, no, that does not mean it's okay. Like, that does not mean it's okay for you to say it in a song. Like, that really doesn't justify anything. And just knowing that like people like that don't respect me, they don't respect my culture, my heritage, or the significance that those words hold. The second thing on when it comes to dating with confidence is to being more like appreciative of my skin color, and being like, you know what, this melanin slaps. Like, it literally slaps. When summertime comes around, when I go out, I know that it looks good. For me, getting to that point of being able to appreciate my skin color has obviously been hard, because it's definitely not a walk in the park. And just like having that confidence to be like, this is me, I'm a black woman, I'm a dark-skinned woman, and I love it, and I love being this, and my hair is kinky, and my hair can be nappy. Those things are things that I've had to accept about myself, and I think once I got to that point of acceptance, it's honestly made dating so much, I wouldn't say easier, but it feels like less of a waste of my time. Another one of those things is hair, for example. It's like when you're dating someone or when you're talking to someone, there's always this weird thing that's like, which shouldn't even be a thing. It's like, okay, well, when do I know when to like take out my wig and let him know that I wear a wig? Or when do I take out my braids and he can see my real hair? Like, for me, I never thought that things like this weren't necessarily like a big deal or something that needs to be like discussed or considered until I started dating people, and they'll be like, I actually like you better when you have your braids on. And it's like, bro, I didn't ask you. Like, your commentary was so unnecessary. So for me, being in a place where I don't internalize that as like a lack of something, that regardless of whether or not I have my hair out or I have braids or I have a wig or I have a sew-in, I'm still valuable and there's still value in me regardless of those things. And coming to that point, coming to that conclusion, y'all, it's been hard. Like, it definitely has been hard because people make backhanded comments, backhanded compliments, and you have to be able to feel like that is not a reflection of who you are, or that is not a reflection of what you bring to the table, or that's not all that there is to you. And accepting that and being like, you know, not everyone's gonna like me. I'm not gonna be everyone's first pick because of my skin color, like, which is so crazy to think about. But also knowing that that is not a reflection of something that you're lacking. Dating with confidence has been a game changer for me because I don't feel the necessity to want to be a pick me or to want someone to like pick me at all costs and wanting to like show them my value. I've just decided not to put that responsibility on myself anymore, and seriously, my life has felt weightless ever since I started being like, I'm gonna come as I am, and if you like me, you do, and if you don't like me, look at me, I'm like, if you like me, you do, if you like me, you do. That's how I really feel. But like, if you like me, you do, and if you don't, it's like, it doesn't really affect me on like that level that is so depressing, because it could definitely get to that point where you're like, everybody doesn't like me because I'm black. But you know, yeah, sometimes that happens, but so is life. We literally move. The second thing that I've learned from being in toxic relationships is to always have your own life, to always strive towards something better, whether that be your career or your goals or school or having a business or education, whatever it is, or traveling, whatever it is, to always have your own life. Because I think that having a life outside of someone else is just so good for your own self-confidence in general, because yeah, people can still come in and ruin that or try to ruin that, but at the same time, it's just not the same. Like, it's different when someone breaks your heart and you have your shit together. Like, it still hurts, it's devastating nonetheless, but I think the level to which it affects you, as opposed to when you don't have your life together or you don't even know what you're doing with your life, I feel like that hurts more when you're still in the stages of figuring it out and trying to find your niche. It's so much harder when someone breaks your heart then, but it can also be a fuel for your fire. Like, honestly, I feel like the kind of person that I am, when I got my heart broken, that was when I had my highest GPA, period. Like, I was like, no. And I was really focused on school. It wasn't like I was trying to prove something to them. I was just trying to prove it to myself that whether or not someone is in my life, I'm still gonna thrive. And that's on that. So yeah, having your life is very, very important, and not being clingy and not suffocating someone else, and just like not trying to even like rush the relationship. Because sometimes I feel like when we're not at a place in our lives that we want to be, or we're not working towards something, we tend to hyper focus on the relationship and try to like speed it up and have everything happen quickly. But it's like, that never works out. I've literally learned this one from personal experience, and I'm still learning that right now. Rushing things is not the recipe for success. It has to be slow and steady. Like, slow and steady really does win the race. The third thing that I've learned from being in toxic relationships is to always have friends, but not just like any kind of friends, but the good kind of friends. The friends that can literally smell a fuckboy before you can see him. Those are the kind of girls you want on your team. I mean, you're still gonna do what you're gonna do regardless. If you're like me, it's like your friends could tell you this guy is bad for you, but you want to date him so bad, you're gonna put your whole entire head in there and not listen to them. But at the same time, having friends that are honest with you and that are gonna call you out and be like, hey, you deserve better than the person that you're dating right now, helps, because then you don't settle in the relationship, because you can see, like, even when your friends tell you something and you're pretending like you can't see it, so guilty. Like, your friends are literally telling you like, this person's bad for you, and you pretend like you can't see it. I feel like on some level there's still that thing in you that can see it, but it's just pretending to not see because that's so much more convenient than just breaking up with the person and moving on. But having good friends helps you either see that the person that you're dating is not good enough for you, or that you're settling, or that they're just toxic and they're changing you. And I feel like the thing too about toxic men is like they'll try to like isolate you from your friends, or like talk bad about your friends, so that there's gonna be like little drama, and then they can have you all to themselves, and they can control your head, your mind, you could you like check. They're controlling everything, and you become a puppet to them. So having good friends and having friends that are like, no, like we do not like this guy. Like if your friends are like my friends, I remember when I was dating the most toxic guy of my life, my friends never liked him. They never liked him. They always vocalized, they were like, no. Like I wish they could like sugarcoat it for me and be like, we kind of like this. They were like, no. Like they didn't want him anywhere. They didn't want me to invite him anywhere. They just weren't here for it. And looking back now, I was like, wow, they could see something that I couldn't see, or something that I was forcing myself to not see because I was so blinded by love. So I'm like super thankful for my friends because of all the relationships that I've been through, and they've always like stuck by me and let me know when I'm doing something wrong or if I deserve better. And just like being a voice of reason in my head. I really like that. Like I really do appreciate my friends because of that, and other things, but especially because of that. Because sometimes, you know, me, when I'm in love, my brain just doesn't think properly. Well, that was before actually. That was when I was younger. Now that I'm getting older, I'm definitely becoming more discerning about relationships and people, and not giving my heart to anybody, and not being so quick to fall in love and fall in lust sometimes, because that's not love. Yeah, sometimes we're just swept away by people, and we're swept away by the wrong people, and just recovering from that is just so hard. So definitely would not recommend, and will recommend you to get you some good friends that are going to be hard on you and honest with you when the time is right. Like when they need to be on top of it, they'll be on top of it. The fourth thing that I've learned from toxic relationships is to not do desperate dating. Desperate dating is literally the devil. Desperate dating will have you settling for things that you should not be settling for. It'll have you normalizing things that you shouldn't be normalizing, and letting things slide that you shouldn't be letting slide. And desperate dating just doesn't look good. If you've ever been around guys when they're talking about a girl that really wants them, or that's like super desperate, they don't talk about her with respect. Like they're just like, I can get that one, so I don't want her. They want the other one that they're not sure about. They don't know how she really feels. She has her own thing going on. Either she's going to school, or she has a life, or she's just like doing her, like focused on herself. So for me, from those experiences, I've been like, okay, I didn't know I was desperate dating. I just thought like I just needed to keep putting myself out there constantly. But what I really needed to do was like take a break from putting myself out there, because I was just putting myself out there for the wrong people, for the wrong reasons. So the moment I stopped desperate dating, I was like, you know what? I am the prize. I don't really need anybody like that. Like I really don't. And for me, that came from a place of also having self-confidence. I don't want to say like I have my shit together, because I don't, but like I'm trying to be better. I've graduated school, I have a job, I have friends, I have family, I have all these things, and that for me is good enough. So it's coming from that place of feeling very balanced and centered, and not really needing attention, and not really needing validation constantly, or feeling that need of like feeling so clingy, like wanting to see him all the time, wanting to like text him all the time. If he doesn't text me back in 2 seconds, now I'm triggered. Like not coming from that place is such a nice place, because you actually put out that energy that you're not desperate. Like it's so crazy, but it totally works. Like I feel like the moment I stopped desperate dating, I was like opened up to like a pool of men where I was like, okay, which one do I really want? And I can pick and choose, and I'm like, I don't really like this one, but I like this one. I want to see how it goes with him and see if I really like him. And that's just because I didn't feel the need to rush anything. And that the need to not rush anything came from the fact that I realized that I wasn't getting married right out of university, because I think that was always something that I really wanted. Like I thought that I was gonna finish, like I've said this severally in so many of my videos, that I thought I was gonna finish university and then get married and like get engaged. And when that wasn't happening, that honestly sent me into like panic mode, like super panic mode. And for me to come out of that and not panic anymore, or not stress about whether or not I'm gonna meet someone today or meet someone tomorrow, and just like live my life, like really living my best life, has just like opened me up to like more guys. And I'm like, what is it about me now that makes me so attractive that I wasn't doing before? And I realized it was just because I wasn't desperate. Like I didn't feel the need to like tie somebody down or like make someone my boyfriend tomorrow. Like I really wasn't dating from that place. And for that, for people can like sense that, and they can feel that, and they want to be around you, and they actually want to date you and make you their girlfriend. And I'm like, whoa, I must have hacked something. Definitely hacked something with that one. So desperate dating will have you settling for people and, you know, letting things slide. Like for me, I remember like this was solely pick me and desperate dating, but I remember when I was so young, like so young. I remember like this guy made me watch YG videos, and he would be like, I want you to do your hair like that. In my head, I'm like, I can't do my hair like that unless it's relaxed. Like I can't really do my hair like that. So I went home and like literally relaxed my hair and like did my hair like that because I wanted this person to like me. Why? But you know, for me, I've come to a point where I've like forgiven myself of those things, because I realized that I just didn't know any different. Like I didn't know that that was a pick me move, or that was desperate dating. I had no idea. I just thought I was doing something nice for someone who liked me, and no, like not doing that anymore. So yeah, the fifth thing that I've learned from dating toxic people is to get your ass in therapy. Get yourself in therapy, please. It's so good. It's good for you, it's good for your mental health, it's good for your friends, everyone around you, and eventually the person you're going to be dating. Because the thing is that what had happened was, if you have unresolved issues from previous relationships and you just, you know, deal with it on your own somehow without actually seeking a professional, and do it the right way, even when you do it the right way and you just move into another relationship, those things are still gonna manifest. For me, I think it was just taking myself to therapy and really talking to a therapist about my feelings. I had to do so much self-acceptance about myself, because I felt like I wasn't accepting myself enough for me to actually date smartly, and that's why I was getting played a lot. But once I got into that place where I was like, you know what, I'm good enough, and having someone also reinforce that for you, like in therapy, not someone that you're dating necessarily, because you don't want to get that from someone that you're dating, because then it's like you're getting it from them. You want to get it from yourself, from within yourself, and you want to have to do the work that would enable you to have those constant feelings of adequacy. Because now I don't go out looking at myself like, he's not gonna like me because I'm black. Like this is a thought that like never used to cross my mind until someone like mentioned it to me last year. I was talking about this on my Instagram last week. If you don't follow me, go follow me. But I was talking about this last week on my Instagram. Like this was a thought that never used to cross my mind until someone literally mentioned it to me last year and like explained it to me. And I'm like, so there are people out here in this world that will not like me because of the color of my skin. In dating, like I get it in terms of racism, like yeah, that happens, but in terms of dating, I was like, huh, interesting. I don't think it phases me, because I don't know, my worth is not tied to whether or not someone whose mind is that small is gonna like me. Like I don't even want them to like me, because then if they like me, that means I'm doing something wrong, that means I'm problematic. So it's okay, you can keep your likes to yourself. Therapy makes you realize like the way that you had grown up, or the way that you've been conditioned to view men or to view relationships might have been like a little bit skewered, and you have to like find ways to like fix that or change that. I'm still going to be doing more therapy, because I feel like it's important to see someone, to have your feelings discussed, and to just try to figure it out for yourself, and so that you don't have this like hate or this grudge or this insecurity, because that's the other thing, like having insecurities are no fun. It'll really help unravel why we feel the ways that we feel, and that our feelings are valid, and it's not even about whether or not they're valid, but how to cope with those feelings, and how to not be bitter and hateful and spiteful, and just like navigate world through this lens of like everybody hates me or nobody likes me because of my skin color or because of my skin tone. So therapy's been great for me, and it's a constant work in progress, and I'm a constant work in progress, and I feel like if I can do it, anybody else can do it. I can't say confidently right now that like I'm there, but I'm totally working towards being there. So for me, why I won't be participating in toxic relationships anymore, like the obvious one, you know, they're not healthy for you. But also, I don't think it's good for my self-esteem or my self-confidence, because dating someone who's toxic for me is gonna make me feel some kind of way about myself. Like, it's not gonna make me feel as confident as I want to be, because I feel like my confidence is threatening to someone else, and I don't like feeling that kind of way. If I start feeling like I'm threatening someone, I have a tendency to like back down or like lay low, or like not like sell myself short, but like want to minimize it. And I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I don't want to be around someone who thinks my confidence is not attractive. Like, no, I'm not gonna do that. So that's another reason I won't be dating toxic people anymore. The third reason is because it draws you back from focusing on your goals. Like, when you're dating someone who's toxic, you're literally expending energy all the time towards them, towards their feelings, towards catering about how they feel about this and how they feel about that. And they always have something to say, and they always have something to feel, and it's not usually supportive. So for me, I'm not going to be draining my personal battery on someone who really doesn't care about me. Another reason is just because it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. In the long haul, it never works. Toxic people will get tired of you, and they find you disposable, and they're like, okay, goodbye. Like, they literally will throw you into the trash and ruin you for someone else. And that's the other thing, like the damage that being in toxic relationships cause when you are actually in healthy ones. Like, can we actually talk about this? Like, can we really talk about this? This is something that I'm currently going through, and I find it interesting because I didn't even think that I was being affected that much, and to now realize how much damage, like how much damage toxic relationships cause with you emotionally, mentally, and changes the way that you think about yourself and the way that you think about people, and you wanting to see the best in people, but also realizing that you've constantly tried to see the best in people and they've disappointed you. It's so hard for a person to be in a healthy relationship after they've been in a toxic relationship, and which is why therapy is so important, because therapy helps you deconstruct all of those and helps you find ways to communicate better, communicate your feelings better, to be able to deal with things more maturely. So yeah, I won't be participating because it's not worth my time to be with someone who doesn't think I'm literally the best thing that's ever happened to them. Whether or not that is true is up for discussion. Actually, it's not up for discussion, mind your business. But like, honestly though, like, I don't want to do that anymore. It doesn't serve me in a positive way, and it just takes away from me as a person. So these are all the reasons why I won't be participating in toxic relationships anymore, and what I've learned from them. I hope you guys like this video. If you guys like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.